You had a flip phone open. I mean, you had a flip phone when I met you, I think.
Oh, yeah. But that deer literally was living in a little corner of this cut and just living off of what was growing in that cut.
Not only did I shoot all 4 broadheads that were in my quiver at that bird, I had to walk over and pick arrows up and chase it down and shoot it there because I never touched it once with one of those arrows.
I feel so weak as a hunter.
There again, we've got to realize that in the end, none of this matters. I can't take any of it with me.
Welcome to the Before the Echo podcast. We're either going to be talking about God or deer hunting. I hope you enjoy it. Before we get into the episode, I got to keep the lights on in the talker compound here and give you some ad reads. I've been running ASIO gear the last few seasons, and honestly, it just flat out works. It's dead quiet, fits right, which I love, and it's built for guys like us who are grinding in a tree when it's cold, windy, hot, miserable. If you need it for deer hunting, ASIO gear has you covered. If you're serious about whitetails, give ASIO a look. Use code ECHO15 to save 15% off at checkout. I got one of their shirts on right now. Visit ASIOgear.com and get you some new camo. I've been using Hawke Optics this year, and man, they just make solid, affordable optics. They're super clear. The scopes are holding zero, great for me. And I was a big fan of the red dot on my turkey gun this season. Whether I'm bow hunting or carrying a rifle, I'm going to have some type of Hawke Optics with me. If you use code BTE at checkout, you can save 15% off an already affordable optic. So visit hawkeoptics.com to get you some great optics. Look, I'm an indecisive person, especially when it comes to broadheads. And I've shot animals with about everything you could think of. I started using razor broadheads, and I haven't looked back. They fly true, they're super sharp, and they're tough as nails. I wanted something I can trust when the shot finally came together, and Razor flat out just delivered for me. It's the kind of gear you don't have to second guess, which is important in a broadhead. If you use code BTE, you can save 20% off a pack of Razor broadheads. So visit razorbroadheads.com and go check them out. If you're like me, you don't want to be hugging a bunch of heavy gear around in the woods, especially here in the hills in Indiana. And that's why I started using the stuff the guys at Latitude Outdoors makes. Their saddles and platforms are lightweight, quiet. They're built tough for hunters who stay on the move, hiking around public land after some big whitetail. We work hard as deer hunters, and if you want gear that works hard for you and won't kill your back lugging it around the woods, check out Latitude Outdoors and save 15% off at checkout by using code BTE. That's 15% off with code BTE at latitudeoutdoors.com. Here's some other promo codes if you need to save some money. Go over to Stealth Outdoors and save 10% using code BTE10. If you need a trail cam bracket for public land, go over to Good Sit Mobile, use the code BTE to save you 10%. If you need some waders or some boots, go over to Tide We, use code BE18 to save 18%. And if you need some fishing gear, go over to PCFunFishing.com, use code BTE18 and save 18% off. Let's get into the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Got a special guest this evening, and that's Travis Avery from Sawyer's. Thanks for joining us, Travis.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, this is a topic that I was always super interested in, and we have kind of a mutual friend that put us into contact, and my buddy Scott Cronin. He was like, "You need to talk to these guys about ticks. It's something that doesn't get brought up enough." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to talk about that," because we're constantly just over the years been talking about ticks. You get them on you naturally as deer hunters. So I put a couple posts about on this YouTube channel and then on Facebook. I just asking people any curiosities or questions, and I expected to maybe get a couple dozen responses, and I think I got like almost 200 comments on those posts. So there's a lot of interest in this topic. So I took some good notes.
Yeah.
People had better questions than I did. So I think it'll be
happy to do our best to answer those.
Yeah. So Travis, do you want to just real quick tell us who you work for,
Sure.
in your background a little bit?
Sure. My name's Travis Avery. I help oversee the marketing department at Sawyer. We've been around since 1984, and we specialize in outdoor protection with our two biggest categories at this point being water filtration and insect repellent. And then within the insect repellent space, we have fabric-based insect repellents and traditional topical repellents for your skin. But the fabric-based insect repellent is what's really making the biggest impact for outdoor men and women.
It is, yeah, and that's that product, the Sawyer's. It's in a yellow bottle. What's the actual product name of that?
Sawyer Permethrin.
Permethrin. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yep.
I knew that was the base ingredients in the product. I just didn't know if you had an actual name for the product. But we've all kind of in the hunting world have grown to appreciate that yellow and black can.
Yeah, no, it's an incredibly effective first layer defense. And so what we always tell people is, I don't care what you're hunting, the most dangerous thing in the woods are the ticks.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, ticks. Let's talk about that. How many different types of ticks do we have here in the U.S.? And I guess, or what are the specific ones we are typically worried about, or we see crawling on us in the woods?
So there's 8 most prominent tick species, and the most prominent diseases that they carry that most hunters are going to want to talk about is first and foremost Lyme disease. Second, alpha gal with the Lone Star tick. And then last, Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Okay. So we got 8 different
tick species
of ticks. I guess it's probably not that important on what is there like a major difference in all 8 of them, or are some of them very similar?
They're all very similar, but they often have a different regional prevalence. So the Northeast has the highest prevalence of ticks and tick species of varieties. Rocky Mountain spotted fever is naturally found a little bit more in the Western states. But at this point, Lyme disease has now been discovered in all 50 states.
Gotcha.
And then I guess I should round it out with the Lone Star tick naturally having a high prevalence in Texas and kind of the surrounding states, but isn't as prevalent everywhere, fortunately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is the Lone Star tick the one with the dot on the back of it, or which one?
That's the one. That's why they call it the Lone Star. Yep.
Got it. I got it. Okay. All right. This was probably the number one question I got, and I want to start. That's why I wanted to start with ticks.
Yeah,
and we'll get into those specific diseases a little bit more later. But I think you even mentioned before we started recording that when we were boys, ticks weren't as prevalent. What has happened between now and then to where, I mean, you go to the woods now, and there's not uncommon to have a dozen or more ticks on you. And it would my whole childhood, I probably had a dozen ticks on me.
Yeah, so it's obviously a combination of things, but yeah, tick populations have more than quadrupled in the past 20 years. So whether it be climate change or more studied is when you're building houses in neighborhoods, you're displacing all the small mice and maybe fox or other small animals. You're displacing the animals that would eat the ticks or move them about. So you just end up with a higher prevalence of ticks on deer or mice or whatever. And so we're slowly taking over their neighborhoods for our neighborhoods. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing them far more amongst some other kind of evolutionary and similar new things that ticks are doing. So they're surviving temperatures we previously thought weren't possible, and they're surviving at elevations previously not thought possible. So we're certainly hoping that as tick-borne diseases grows, so will the research and studies around them, because we certainly think that we're behind the curve on tick educations given the rise in prevalence.
Okay. So are they are the tick species, are they starting to just adapt to the environment then? Is that what's going on?
They're becoming more resilient, but again, you're having less opossums eating, tens to hundreds of ticks per day. In many areas in the U.S., deer hunting popularity is diminishing. So there's ticks are being able to survive on hosts for longer. So yeah, it's definitely a combination of things.
I never thought about it this way. The more wildlife we have the more ticks we're going to have because they have hosts to survive off of.
Yep. There was, I have to, I can look up the citation after, but yeah, they found a moose with over 300,000 ticks on it.
Goodness.
Yeah.
My uncle,
ticks can literally kill these animals from basically bleeding them to death.
my uncle is a taxidermist, and it's pretty insane sometimes to go over to his, like when he gets a buck in or something to mount, you know, and it's pretty insane to go over just certain deer will just be covered in ticks.
Yep. So that's actually, if I could quick interject, that's one of our number one tips that we give to hunters is if you have like an old canvas blanket or an old moving blanket, treat that with permethrin. And then after you harvest you field dress your buck, then when you're transporting the deer back to your processing, whether it's your taxidermist buddy or back to your house, as the deer cools down in temperature, the ticks will release, and then they'll fall onto the treated permethrin blanket, and then they'll die. So you don't have to worry about bringing ticks home to your taxidermy or barn or wherever you're processing your meat.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip. A moose that had 300,000 ticks on it. Where was that at?
I'll have to look. I can actually try and multitask. That's what I should have done during our sound check.
Well, it's not a big deal. Did that kill that thing?
Yes.
Okay. That is insane amount of ticks.
Oh, I might have exaggerated. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They can carry over 100,000 ticks in a single season. This Vermont. Yeah.
Vermont.
I can send you a link after, but yeah. So a crazy large amount of ticks can survive off of a host.
So does like any of these animals, this is a question I got brought up on Facebook, I think, but like are any of the animals like deer, you'll see deer that have all these ticks on them too. Do they have the same problems we do with diseases carried by ticks? Or are they fairly...
Yes, the diseases can be transmitted to these animals. They just don't necessarily affect the animals in the same way that they would affect us.
I got you. I was just always, you wonder if there is some type of different disease that will come about from ticks that is going to affect the deer population or moose population.
Sure.
Sounds like the worst part about being in a deer or a moose is just the sheer amount of blood loss from them.
Yes, correct. Yep.
All right. So we got more deer around that's causing, or more animals around causing, we got displace
less opossums, less fox, less mice.
Yeah, that's true too.
Stuff. Yeah.
And then what are the main animals that actually eat ticks or that are good animals to have around for ticks?
Chickens do wonders for local tick management. But yeah, opossums are your best friend when it comes to the amount of ticks that they eat.
Okay. I've always heard that. Possums get a bad rap,
They
but
sure do.
I've always heard not to kill them because they take care of the ticks.
Yeah.
All right. I'll probably think of some other questions.
No, you got 200 questions.
Yeah.
There are
a lot of them are repetitive, but
that's fine. I'm letting you lead here.
We were talking about earlier, about the time of year for ticks. Are we seeing a seasonal change in ticks at all? I mean, obviously they're on the deer during the wintertime.
Yeah, so that's why I'm hoping this is something that becomes more studied as we move forward. Because we've found that they're living at elevations previously not thought possible. I live here in Michigan, and I think it was maybe like 5 years ago we had one of those. What did they call? I mean, of course, I'm forgetting the name of it now that we're recording. But we got into like negative 20 degree Fahrenheit weather, and they went back out and found some of these ticks that they kind of put in these tick tubes to see if they would survive at these temperatures, still are surviving at temperatures that we didn't think that they could survive at. So definitely a bit of resiliency and adaptation. But yeah, ticks are certainly becoming more prevalent and surviving temperatures we didn't think possible. So traditionally, we think that they're more active above like 50 degrees, but they can still be in kind of a dormant or active state in freezing temperatures.
Gotcha. Where do they go in the wintertime? Do they just stay on host or animals or in the ground?
So they kind of have like an antifreeze type blood, and so if they're not on a host, they can just kind of shut down, and kind of like crocodiles and alligators can just kind of suspend until they wake up for food or relocation. So yeah, they can just kind of hide during the winter and then become active again as it warms back up.
Interesting, almost like a little hibernation for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there you go. That's a word I was trying to think of.
All right. So back in the day when we were younger, were these freezes killing the ticks then, or do they weren't studied back then enough to know?
Again, not studied enough, but yeah, that was the common thought, is that below freezing that they would die off or just go into that hibernation state. But yeah, like I said, when they found that they were still surviving at negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, they kind of changed some of the conventional thought.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go over just a few of the prevalent diseases that we're seeing a rise in because of the rise in tick numbers. Lyme's is the most popular one that we hear about.
Correct.
I think you said earlier we have every state has a case of Lyme's now, correct?
Lyme has been discovered in all 50 states at this point. Yep.
Okay. And did it start in Connecticut? Is that where they think it?
Lyme, Connecticut is kind of where it's got its name. Whereas kind of the disease was first kind of tracked and attributed to Lyme, Connecticut.
Do they know what may have caused the start of that disease?
So it's a bacteria that had kind of evolved in ticks. So basically similar to how mosquitoes, when you have a mosquito bite, they inject a anticoagulant type thing that's what's itchy after they suck your blood. In Lyme, Connecticut, that was the very first time that they made the connection between this new bacteria in the ticks and the ticks themselves.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that was the epicenter of the disease or anything, but
Correct.
It just was
yes.
where it was.
There is some, how do I phrase this nicely? There are some
conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you use that word, that it was bioengineered as a chemical weapon. But we know that's not the case.
Okay. Well, that got brought up on Facebook a couple times, so I'm glad we covered it real quick.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, it's the best, dude.
Absolutely,
it's so much fun.
Yeah, but yes, there's enough research on it at this point that we know that that's actually not the case.
Okay, what year was it that it came about, or
multitask
roughly? Yeah, that's a beautiful part about doing this on a computer. You can kind of look up you can be Jamie from Joe Rogan at the same time.
Well, I'm not going to rely on the AI results, but 1982 is when there's really saying that it was first kind of registered and studied. But they're finding cases dating further back than that.
I imagine it had to be pretty rare back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least rarer.
Right, rare. Yeah. Do you feel like doctors nowadays are taking... Okay, so this is, just people kind of communicating to me some of their struggles with Lyme disease and how, it was so hard to get their doctor to test for this or to take this serious. Why do you think that kind of speculation goes around?
Yeah, more than happy to take a stab at that. So I think it's a combination of things, and hopefully I don't get distracted explaining it. It's basically the idea that much like we said, when we were growing up, it wasn't that much of a concern. So when doctors, current doctors, who knows when they were educated on the subject based on how old they are, where they're practicing. So there's a lot of outdated information that some medical professionals are still working off of. And similarly, since it's actually a very difficult kind of disease to exactly point out or diagnose, some people get bit and they remove the tick in an ample amount of time for it not to be a concern. Some people don't know that they're bit. They still end up getting a bull ring rash around it, but then end up not getting any sort of long-term effects. And then there's a lot of people, there's popular celebrities that just had no idea that they even got bit by a tick. And then they start to suffer, chronic cases or aches and pains or fevers or anything that they don't even think to attribute to a tick-borne disease. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. And with it being difficult and controversial to diagnose, kind of adding to that difficulty on both sides, either the patient not being able to convince their doctor or the patient not even knowing that this is what they should be concerned about. So that's why we always say if you do find a tick embedded in you, even if you get it off in an early amount of time, throw it in a Ziploc bag or a glass jar just in case you do start to show symptoms. And then so you can take that tick with you to your doctor, which should give you a higher degree of kind of diagnosis accuracy.
Yeah. I have a buddy that does that, and I saw his jar like a few years back. He's been doing it for a long time. I'm like, why do you have a jar of ticks here? And he put them in tape, like he would put them in tape and then write the date on them or whatever.
Yep.
And then I'm like, why are you keeping your ticks? And he told me, like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, it's probably a good idea to do that.
Yeah. And
how is there? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to make a joke. Back to you.
Oh. Is that rule, like I've always heard, like if you get them off in 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is, that you're safe? Is that a actual thing? Like,
so currently,
me and my son went hiking the other day, and he got one on him. We got it off while we were hiking. Like it was literally on there for couldn't have been 5 minutes.
Yep.
But
so it depends on the species, because unfortunately, a single tick bite from the Lone Star tick can create that alpha gal intolerance. But when it comes to traditional tick bites, they say right now the current window is 8 to 20 hours, or just call it 24 hours. So there still is ample time before they kind of release some of those more potentially dangerous bacterial transmissions. But I don't care how long the tick has been on. If I feel one, I feel 1,000, and I want to make sure that there aren't ticks on me or any loved ones, pets included.
Yeah, for sure. My dog got Lyme's disease, and it really. I mean, I didn't know what was wrong with her. I thought she was going to die.
Sure.
I mean, she did not want to move. She was whining constantly, and that was. I mean, they put her on some antibiotics and took care of it, but.
For those that are unaware, you can actually use Sawyer Permethrin directly on dogs. So it's the exact same formula that we sell, Bass Pro, Cabela's, Amazon, wherever you shop. But we also even have a dog packaging specific version. You apply it directly to your dog, and it can last. Let's see, it's 35 days against fleas and up to 6 weeks against ticks.
Okay. It's good to know. Your pets are very susceptible to them, it seems like.
Oh yeah, and it's a great way to make sure if your dog's out running through the woods. I got a wired hair pointer. I want to make sure he's not bringing ticks back into the tent or the cabin or the house too. I'm for sure worried about his safety, but I also want to make sure that he's not bringing any back to the house.
Does Lyme's always come with the target type or bullseye type rash?
It does not. And that's why I was going back to earlier. We were saying sometimes it's difficult to diagnose because not everyone gets the bull ring. Some people, may not be able to see where they got bit or whatever. So it does not always present itself identically to all people. And that's why it's difficult for people or medical professionals to accurately diagnose it at times.
It does seem like it's just a crazy disease. I mean, I've heard people that just are a little bit sick, and I've heard people that are, feel like they're going to They're never
Sure.
going to come out of it.
There's some people that say that there's no such thing as chronic Lyme, and I know people who would happily debate the others on that.
Me too.
The symptoms can truly be wildly different, but also a very long effect.
Yeah. Okay. That's Lyme's. Alpha gal. That's another one that's getting really.
So. Yep. So that's obviously one of the most concerning for a lot of outdoor men and women. A single bite from the Lone Star tick can trigger the alpha-gal syndrome, which is more than likely a lifetime of intolerance towards red meats.
Is there any way of getting rid of it?
Short answer is no. Hope that can change in the future, and again, some people might have varying degrees of intolerance, but currently speaking, as of the time of this recording, there are no known fixes for that.
My pastor got it, and I think it was several years he couldn't eat red meat. But a fun fact, he could eat a McDonald's cheeseburger and it wouldn't have
we can speculate as to what that might be, but
that's what he said. And
I believe it, but
he wouldn't lie about it.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm saying I was making a joke about the caliber of the beef quality at McDonald's. To which I'm still a fan of. But like I said, it can vary per person.
And then he said it just kind of over the years he's gotten less susceptible to it.
And that probably came from a lifestyle change of not having that type of meat. But not everyone has that same
experience,
diminishing experience.
Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered is just random.
Yep.
And that's the tick that has the lone
the white the star on the back.
Yeah, it's very identifiable. It's the one I can tell you the difference. And I see them a lot around here in southern Indiana.
Yep. So that's another one. Perhaps not as high in prevalence as Lyme, but it's definitely growing in its prevalence and geographic prevalence.
A few years ago, I heard a guy here in town got it, and it was like nobody knew about it then. And now, you hear. I mean, a lot of people have had it now. So it's crazy.
Quick anecdotal story. I was fortunate enough to meet a gentleman who works at one of the cattlemen beefs associations, and he was blown away that they were serving chicken at one of the the big meetings, and that's how he learned about alpha-gal as they were scratching their heads why chicken was being served at the dinner of the Cattlemen's Association.
Yeah, nobody'd be allergic to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll move on from that one again because there's another one that is out west a lot, and it's what did you call it? The Rocky Mountain
spotted fever. Yep. Which in rare cases, not trying to be overly dramatic, that one actually can be fatal.
Okay. So what are some of the symptoms of that one? Because that's the one I'm not as familiar with.
Yep. So you're still going to get your kind of feverish symptoms, and can also lose motor functionality, loss of limbs. But like I said, in rare cases, it can't be fatal.
Wow. So really, that's less prevalent one, but most serious one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we would argue that all of them are concerning. The only good tick is a dead tick. So I think what we would advocate most for is regional familiarity with what you're up against. But fortunately, all ticks are susceptible to bug spray and permethrin. So for sure, be aware of the ticks that are in the area you're currently in or wherever you're going. But the similar amount of preventative maintenance can be extremely effective.
Okay. Going through my notes here, someone was asking about, is the test for Lyme's, is it very accurate? Like, can you test negative for Lyme's and still have it?
So that will go back to what I was saying. Yes, the symptoms for Lyme can be wildly different and hard to diagnose. So the short answer, I think, would be yes, from a non-officially medical expert.
Not a doctor. We just play one on
Not
the
officially.
podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to play. I'm trying to spread the most accurate information.
Yeah. That's all
because it does vary.
Okay, prevention. Next topic here. Let's
prevention,
get into
prevention. So what's that phrase? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of. Shoot, I lost it at the end.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't finish it either. So
okay, well, we'll edit that in with the voiceover. So the biggest thing we say for hunters is permethrin is your first layer protection. There was a study done by the University of Rhode Island that showed if you're just wearing permethrin treated shoes and socks, you're more than 70 times, not percent, 70 times less likely to get bit by a tick. So if you're treating your hunting gear, your blind, your saddle, you've got that tarp or a blanket in the back of your truck or vehicle ready for anything you harvest, you can drastically cut down on your potential of getting bit by a tick or even bothered by ticks. I think I kind of made the joke earlier. If you maybe not a joke, but if you have one tick on you, it feels like you have 1,000.
Yeah.
And when you're concentrating in the moment on the hunt, that's one less major distraction to be concerned about.
I know guys that have stopped turkey hunting because of ticks because it bothers them so much.
Ticks and mosquitoes have turned a lot of good hunters back towards their vehicles.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a type of habitat ticks prefer like that you can try to avoid, or is it just? I mean, they can be on leaves and trees. They can be on.
So
grass.
The traditional rule of thumb is obviously yes, there's extraneous circumstances, but for the most part, they'll crawl up on you. So whether they're from in the grass or they're on low hanging like shrubs or bushes or tall grass when you're walking through the woods. But yes, traditionally they will be crawling up on you to try to find some soft skin to burrow. They thrive better in moisture. So, that's why it's another good reason if you have a lawn, if you keep your lawn cut shorter, it does not allow ticks to live there as easily if with tall grass and whatnot. Yes, again, a lot of that just depends on where you are. But yes, walking through the woods, you're going to be looking for them crawling up on you.
Yeah. So we have this term, I don't know if it's a proper term, but like seed ticks or those little bitty ticks you get on you.
Yep.
Are those just juvenile ticks that we, see later on in life when they're bigger?
So yes and no. So there are ticks that are in that stage of their life cycle that are still that small, but there are also ticks that can, at full size still be that's hard to see.
Okay. So it could be either one. Okay.
Yep. And then there's also a difference between the size of male versus female ticks as well.
Oh, are the males larger or the females larger?
Female.
Okay. Makes sense. Is there certain types of people that are more susceptible to ticks? I got this a lot on Facebook asking that question.
Again, yes. The short answer is yes. Similarly to how mosquitoes might be more attracted to people with, type O blood or heavy carbon dioxide breathers or a low garlic diet, ticks can inevitably be more attracted to some people than others.
So the garlic thing, is there something to that then, your garlic diet?
There is a little bit to that, but I wouldn't say it's as effective as some other preventative measures. But yes, that is one of the things that it is documented enough for it to be a factor.
Okay, but you're not preventing it 70 times like you would.
No. Leave your clove of garlic at home when you go hunting. I would not rely on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Permethrin. We talked about that a little bit.
Yep.
Is there any other things you guys recommend people doing to prevent ticks?
Yeah. So, Permethrin is like I was saying earlier, is the single biggest first layer defense. It's a fabric-based insect repellent. Sawyer Permethrin doesn't harm any fabrics or finishes, and it's completely odorless after drying. You can, it's kind of like a set it and forget it type moment. But we also do still have topicals. So what we say is if the majority of your clothing and gear is treated, then you actually only need a little bit of topical insect repellent on your exposed skin. So we have a variety of different formulas, but our most popular is the latest addition to our lineup, and that's picaridin.
Yes.
Sawyer picaridin is 20% picaridin formula, and that's when we first introduced it, it was a fisherman's formula because it doesn't harm any plastics or polymers like a DEET can. So whether you're a fly fisherman like myself, or you don't have to worry about your gun finish or anything, the picaridin is a very effective topical insect repellent that isn't going to harm any of your gear.
Is it like a lotion type that you guys have?
So we have both a lotion and a spray. We always encourage people to try the lotion. It's even more comfortable and it actually lasts even longer.
I would second that. I like the lotion.
Oh yeah, big fan. But inevitably, the current market, the sprays are still popular. But I definitely encourage people to try the lotion.
Okay, Permethrin is not for the skin. I got a lot of questions about the chemical permethrin.
Yeah, so I'm happy to elaborate on that real quick. So permethrin is a synthetic version of the chrysanthemum flower's natural insect repellent. So the natural version that the plants continually produce naturally synthesizes in the sun after about 15 minutes. Okay. But this synthetic version, once it bonds with your fabric fibers, doesn't come out for 6 weeks or 6 washes, whichever comes first. So it's a synthetic version of the chrysanthemum flower's natural repellent. But when it bonds to your fabric, your clothing, your gear, your blind, whatever, it will only come out via the heavy agitation of a washing machine or UV exposure. So it doesn't come out in the rain. Doesn't matter how terrible the conditions are. If you're a duck hunter, they say the worse conditions, the better the hunt. This stuff will keep you protected when you're on the move without having to worry about it coming out.
What about sweating? A lot of people are concerned about sweating through your clothes and getting it on you.
Nope. Yeah, that's another advantage to using a actual Sawyer Permethrin or a pharmaceutical grade formula. There are more potentially frugal methods of maybe using a agricultural grade and making your own.
Brought up.
Yep, but those are the formulas that are far more likely to. If you're sweating or out in the rain, you're going to feel it come out on your skin. Mm-hmm. But Sawyer Permethrin in our grade and our proprietary formula, that is not the case. So you don't have to worry about it coming out sweating or in the rain, water access, nothing. It's, like I said, it's only the heavy agitation of a washing machine. So you could extend the life of your treatment by not putting it in the washing machine, or just the UV exposure breaks it down.
Okay. That's good to know, because I bet a dozen people asked about the concentrate you can buy from like a farm store.
Sure. Yeah. You can make your own soda pop at home too if you want to put in the time and the effort. But there are downsides to using incorrect agriculture grade formulas, concentrations, or might not have that truly odorless effect. Or so.
And look,
if
a bottle of Permethrin or Sawyer's Permethrin it'll last you all season, and it's not like it's $400 to buy this bottle of it.
We try to keep it very affordable. Yeah, our most popular model is a 24-ounce trigger spray bottle, and each individual bottle will spray 5 complete outfits. So it's still a very cost-effective formula, and you're talking like pennies per day of effectiveness.
Well, and like it's that. I've had friends that have used the agriculture grade.
Yep. And
it's not worth it to me to save a few dollars and then get irritated skin and all these when your pores open when you sweat and all these side effects,
We're in agreement. However, I have to acknowledge that there are other permethrin grades and agricultural available concentrates, but naturally, there's a reason why ours is the number one rated.
So yours is a different formula than most
Oh,
other.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So Colston, Sawyer acquired Colston. I'm still friends with the gentleman. So basically, it was first developed for the U.S. military, and then after the U.S. military adopted it, we were able to get a civilian concentration formula approved.
Interesting. Can I ask why the military was wanting permethrin?
For exactly the same reasons any outdoorsman would, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's good.
One less thing for the military to worry about when they're in the thick of it, wherever that is.
How important is it to let it dry on your clothing? People were asking that about spraying before you go out to the field.
So again, I'm going to answer this the most accurately I can. It is meant to be applied and then fully dried before wearing. Once it's fully dried, it's completely odorless, which is advantageous for hunters. But yes, it's not meant to be applied in the moment. And allowing it to dry on its own will give you a much more consistent and effective application than if you try to rush that. So absolutely recommend people follow the protocols and allow it to dry completely before you wear it for maximum effect.
Are you guys seeing any ticks that are becoming immune to permethrin?
Would love to see that researched as we move into the future, but as of right now, like I mentioned earlier, permethrin and picaridin are both still universally effective against ticks.
Okay. Yeah, and if anybody's listening to this episode and like how I just want to let you guys know how important it is to get you some of the Sawyer stuff and use it. Whenever, I went hunting with buddies that haven't used it, and I'm pretty a stickler about it. I keep some in my truck. I always treat my clothes every few weeks. And there's a drastic difference whenever you don't have it on versus you do on how many ticks are on.
Every season we get the emails and calls about the people saying that there was the one guy in deer camp that didn't, and they were the only one that had the issue.
Yep.
So yeah, one of our internal jokes of sorts is half the people who have used it absolutely love it, and the other half just haven't used it yet.
That's all right. When I hunt with people that don't have it, they quickly borrow mine once they realize how effective it is. No,
like I said, that University of Rhode Island study is publicly available, and it's a testament to how effective the treatment is. Ticks only need to crawl across approximately an inch, maybe an inch and a half of treated permethrin in order to start the dying process.
Okay. Is there a certain population of people that are allergic to permethrin where it wouldn't be?
No, not that I'm aware of. Permethrin is a widely studied active ingredient, and people are far more likely to have a allergic reaction to other things in a formula, whether it be a topical or a sunscreen or whatever. But the active ingredient itself, as far as I know, has an incredibly low intolerance rate. And again, our Sawyer permethrin is at 0.5%. So it's a very concentrated formula. But then once it completely dries into your fabric, it's not coming out via physical contact or sweating or whatever. So you don't have to worry about that. So in those things combined, I feel like we can pretty confidently say that there's a very low likelihood of allergic reactions.
Okay. Washing your clothes after you treated it. How many times would you recommend treating it, after you've washed, or what's your guidelines there?
So officially our permethrin lasts for 6 weeks or 6 washes. So like I said, it's the heavy agitation of the washing machine that loosens it out of the fabric, not the water access alone. So you're hunting blind, you're not throwing that in your washing machine. So officially 6 weeks or 6 washes, but you can slightly extend the effectiveness by not washing it, or keeping them in like a black tote or the back of your closet when not in use. But again, conditions can vary. got to stick with the official verbiage of 6 weeks or 6 washes, but still a very cost-effective solution.
Yeah, for sure. Have you guys looked like? There's a lot of companies out there now that produce tick preventive clothing.
Yep.
Do you know much about the chemicals they use, and if it is permethrin or what are they? It
is permethrin. Yep.
Okay.
Just a different delivery system. And one of the tricks that I can give you guys. So a lot of what they do is a heat is introduced into the application process. So if your clothing is like iron safe, after the treatment is completely dried, if you iron that, it's going to lock in that treatment even longer than the official 6 weeks or 6 washings claim. But that's how some people are able to, I'm not going to pick on any brands, but they get to sell their shirts for X% higher because it comes pre-treated, where whether you already have the gear at home or whatever, you can use Sawyer to retreat some of those garments once they go out of their effective lifespan. But yeah, the heat is another secret tip.
Okay. There were some other random questions I may throw at you just to see.
Timmy, this is more fun than me rambling.
Yeah. Okay, so pets. We give pets pills, that monthly pills.
Yep.
Is there ever a technology you could see come out for humans where you could take a pill and then you're tick free for 3 months?
So they're still, as far as I know, that's something that they're still researching in the background. But what we like to say, conversely, is part of why I love using permethrin on my dog is, again, the ticks only need to crawl across around an inch of it in order to start the dying process. Yeah. Whereas with the oral preventatives, the tick has to bite your dog or whatever the animal is to get whatever that chemical is released into the tick that kills the tick. So this circumvents the whole need of waiting to get bit. So if there was an oral version for humans, my understanding is you would still theoretically have to get bitten by the tick in order for that medicine to start working. So let's just not get bit, whether it's our dog or us.
I agree. I don't like being bit. I would still assume you'd have an irritation if you got bit by one.
Presumably, but I would say that would be the counter to. So no, that's not currently available on the market, and if so, based on how it currently works in pets, that would be the immediate downside, in our opinion.
Have you guys seen much these are all just rumblings you hear in the hunting community, but everything has a problem, right? Everything causes cancer. Do you have any permethrin and cancer research that's been done at all?
Yeah, no. Like I said, permethrin has been widely studied. And again, Sawyer permethrin, we're the original pioneer of it for the military, and now the civilian version. We use a pharmaceutical grade formula. It doesn't leach out. So there are no known cancer risks with the use of picaridin and permethrin or DEET.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
And all of our stuff, or I should say anything that is necessary to be Prop 65 compliant in California is. So, like I said, all of our stuff is very well studied and researched. We have all of our EPA claims registered with the government and whatnot. So a lot of that stuff is researchable, and the majority of the negative connotations surrounding permethrin are due to the agricultural grade concentrates.
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know.
So happy to mention this. It seems an appropriate time. Another thing that when permethrin gets brought up online is cats. So cats have a very unique central nervous system. So just like you can't have chrysanthemums in the house or poinsettias in the house, cats, there's just things that they're naturally allergic to. But once Sawyer permethrin treatment has fully dried, it's completely safe to use and wear treated clothing and garments around cats.
Okay. Any other insects that we need to be concerned about right now in the hunting world that you guys can help us with?
Yeah, mosquitoes are still the largest killer of human beings outside of human beings. So they carry diseases, whether it's your traditional Zika or Tripoli, equine encephalitis. there's a variety of diseases that mosquitoes can carry as well.
Yeah. I did not know that the mosquitoes kill is the second leading cause of.
So historically speaking, mosquitoes is the largest killer of human beings in all of human experience.
Those rumblings of mosquitoes come and go. Like people get real concerned about them, and then it goes away, and then they get real concerned.
Yeah, I think when there's surges in new diseases, like when Zika came on the scene, but malaria internationally is still one of the leading causes of insect-borne deaths.
Yeah, we a lot of times as deer hunters, we don't have to worry about mosquitoes, in the good time of deer hunting, but early season,
depending on the time of year as well. Yeah, but I'm just saying, to answer your question, mosquitoes and ticks are still the two primary vector-borne disease carriers.
Gotcha. Do you guys still recommend permethrin for mosquitoes, or do you have or is that the deep?
Yeah, so that's another thing. I guess we kind of went really heavy into the tick parts, but permethrin repels and kills mosquitoes as well.
Okay. That's good to know, but you probably need to pair it with your guys' lotion. I can't remember the name of it.
Just like I said, even if you just did the permethrin, it will provide you protection from ticks. That's why you say if the majority of your clothing gear is treated, you might only have a little bit of exposed skin.
Right.
The more treated fabric you have around you, the more protected you'll be from mosquitoes and ticks.
Yeah, but I meant like for your, maybe your neck or whatever is on your exposed, you may want to get some lotion put on that.
Yep, and that's what I said. That's why we say that our Permethrin formula doesn't harm any gear, so you don't have to worry about your bow, your fishing line, your gun, your saddle. I don't know how you prefer to deer hunt, but fortunately, neither the permethrin or the picaridin are going to damage any of your valuables.
Yeah. Something else that really helps is tucking in clothing, like for your ticks, to make sure they don't get to your body before they,
So one of the non-hunting tips that's most prevalent is wearing light colored clothing so you can see the ticks crawling on you easier. But naturally with camouflage, that can be a little bit more difficult. So tucking in your articles of clothing can kind of help. But like we tried to establish a little bit earlier, there almost always will be trying to climb up.
Yeah. Is there any colors that they don't like or anything like silly like that? If you're not,
short answer is no. It's easier for us to spot them on lighter color clothes, but no statistical data that I'm aware of that would say that they don't like blaze orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook question that got brought up.
No, I'm here for it.
Good question. Okay. Sawyer's is not just a insect repellent company. You guys are I think I saw you guys before in the water filtration before I saw you in tick repellent or insect repellent.
So water filtration is actually surprisingly the last category of our main ones that we got into. So yeah. So
really? I'm backwards then.
Yeah. So when we first got in the water filtration space, it was like, why are we buying a water filter from a bug spray company? And now it's people who only found out about us through the water filter. It's like, why would I buy a bug spray from a water filter company? So
I went on an elk hunt quite a few years ago now, and so that's where I first saw Sawyer's was when I was looking for a water filtration system. Can we touch on water filtration? No, we won't. I don't want to take up much more of your time.
Well, that's another. I will love to talk about water filters.
Okay.
One, I'd be happy to kind of expand on water filtration technology, what makes ours different, all that jazz. But that's one of my favorite tips to give hunters. Hunters are, in our experience, the most likely to be carrying in way too much weight, way too much crap, more stuff than they need. We get to work very closely with like the long distance hikers and backpackers that will literally walk from the Mexico border up to Canada, and so they learn what's necessary and not. And so the amount of carrying water with you is very heavy. So with our water filters, you can bring whenever 2 or 3 ounce water filters, and you can filter your water while you're out in the field, as opposed to bringing 2 full Nalgene bottles strapped to the side of your backpacks and whatever. That just one of my favorite hiking phrases, ounces are pounds and pounds are pain.
Yeah.
So the more you can be conscious of what you're bringing. So yeah, water filtration is another very important side of our company. Just doesn't have as quite of the impact that we know our repellents can make with hunters.
Sure.
When people go looking for water filters, we're usually pretty prevalent. But when it comes to hunting preparation, more people, at SHOT Show or other trade shows, they're excited in the shiny gizmos and gadgets and fun stuff, whereas bug spray isn't always that exciting to talk about, but it can make a huge impact on your health and success. But yeah, so water filters, we kind of help disrupt the water filtration market as well. With our hollow fiber membrane filters. So our squeeze filter comes with a lifetime warranty.
Gotcha. Can we go over, before we get real deep into that, like what are some of the concerns I need to be thinking about before I go out and drink out of a creek that looks beautiful, in the back country here?
Well, I'll try to draw a parallel. Much like we said, the most dangerous thing in the woods are the ticks, the things you can't see. When it comes to water filtration, the stuff that's going to make you sick is typically stuff that you can't see either. So yes, fresh moving water, fast moving water, cold water will always be more prevalent or preferable than stagnant water. But at the end of the day, the stuff that's going to make you sick, you're not going to be able to see. The overwhelming cause of waterborne illness around the world is just bacteria. So our filters will remove all the harmful bacteria, protozoa, cysts, and our filters are even capable of removing 100% of microplastics now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's bacteria in the water. Our filters can filter hundreds of gallons a day depending on your setup and water pressure. We have water filters that we're using around the world, exact same water filters, but we're currently working with around 140 charities in 80 countries. We're using these water filters to bring clean water to families, and we also do disaster relief as well. So whether it's the Asheville hurricanes, we just deployed a bunch of our products, a mix of water filters and a lot of repellents and sunscreens towards Texas and North Carolina. But yes, our water filters are a great way to make sure that you're protected in the outdoors as well as for any kind of emergency situation. So if you have a boil alert, you can take your hunting filter and you don't have to go rush down to the store and fight someone over cases of bottled water.
I think in the hunting world, I think they call it this in other industries too, but the blanket term for bacteria from the water is like beaver fever.
Beaver fever. There's a few nicknames that are, but yes, that's the most prominent.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Some of the stuff you guys do with, helping out people. That's real noble of Sawyer's. What does it look like for, okay, let's say I want to get I'm a deer hunter. I want to go scouting. I don't want to have to carry a bunch of water in. I know there's some streams around where I'm going to be at. What's the filters look like? What would you recommend for a deer hunter in the Midwest to buy?
Perfect. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm displaced from my office right now, so I don't have my supplies. But basically, our two most popular filters, we even have an emergency red mini filter. Basically, they're just hollow fiber membrane filters that thread onto most standard plastic bottles. They also come, when you buy almost any Sawyer filter, it also comes with a collapsible water bottle. You can make gravity systems. You can hook them up inline on your Camelback. There's a variety of different ways you can use them. But yeah, these are all like $15 to $15 filters that can filter up to 100,000 gallons, or with the full size squeeze, a lifetime warranty. You can see that gravity system on the lower left panel. That is a great way to let gravity do the work while you're setting up camp. You can filter. We have cost-effective gravity systems for like camp kits or like Boy Scouts. So you can get for let's call it $45. You can get a 1 gallon gravity system that can filter a gallon of water in around 7 minutes while you set up camp or take a break. Variety of different ways to use it. All very compatible, very easy to use, but it's going to make sure all the harmful pathogens and particulate and microplastics in the water are removed and safe for you to continue drinking.
Okay. So here's your micro squeeze then.
Yep. So yeah, there's all the filters use the same internal kind of fibers, but there's just different form factors.
Okay, so it's the same technology inside of here.
All the same technology and all the same, but yeah, it just kind of depends if you want to have a emergency filter for your, tackle box, glove box cabin, or if you want one of these new premium collapsible bladder systems that we did in a collaboration with this brand called Canuck. You can. Whether you want to look on our websites or REI, Bass Pro Cabela's, Amazon, you can kind of see what all the different options are. But yeah, the Mini and the Squeeze are kind of their two most popular models, and they just come in different form factors. But all of them are able to be used right out of the box.
This seems like something that would be great for a guy just going out and scouting, where you could
totally
bring a water bottle and you could
so that's it. Yep. And again, I don't have my supplies here with me, but that's a pliable, foldable system that collapses. You can put it in your front pocket or your back pocket. I'm sure you got somewhere to stash it. So yeah, highly portable, and capable of lasting 10 plus years if maintained.
Oh wow! Okay, so you just fill up this baggie out of the creek or whatever.
Yep, you fill that up, throw the filter on top, and you can drink straight out of it. Or you can fill up your, canteen or your friend's canteen. You can fill up your Nalgene's. That same filter will thread onto, whether it's a smart water bottle or a life water bottle. That'll just thread right on top of that. So you can just dunk that under the stream, creek, or lake, and then put the filter on top and drink directly from it. Okay. And like I said, for those who still like kind of hydration packs like Camelback, you can hook them up directly inline. There you go. You can see it on just a handful of different people's smart water bottles at camp.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I may have to get me one of those systems to mess with a little bit. How dirty can the water be with that stuff? Like, does it take care of particles and stuff in the water?
It does, yeah. Like I said, so the stuff that's going to make you sick is the microscopic bacteria. So the more turbid the water is, the more you'll have to backwash it or maintain it, which is just simply forcing clean water back through the opposite direction. Think of it as like a microscopic reusable coffee filter, where you just kind of got to clean it out and get it ready for the next use. But yeah, they're meant to be able to handle wilderness water, real world conditions. This isn't just like a lab tested filter. Like I said, we're fortunate to be the number one filter for long distance through hikers, the people that go hike for months on end. We've some of our original international water filter distribution programs started in around 2008. And so we have some of these filters that have already had they're quinceañera already. So they're lasting even longer than we thought, as long as you maintain them. So a great way to get outdoors and stay hydrated outdoors safely, but also very effective both in water quality and weight management.
Awesome. Well, Travis, I don't want to take much more of your time up, but we kind of went over Sawyer's, and everybody can I'll link them below, but you guys are in a lot of retails too. You can see them.
Yep. No, we're fortunate to have a lot of distribution, and I got to give a quick shout out to our sunscreen. Such a great formula, just never was as popular as some of the rest of our stuff. So if you're a middle America person, check out our sunscreen. Very breathable, long lasting, also available. Check out our website for mom and pop shops or Amazon, wherever you shop. But hopefully, depending on how you like to get outdoors, Sawyer can help you get outdoors safer and longer.
I'll second the sunscreen thing. That's something I'm becoming more aware of. As I've had 3 buddies that have had skin cancer recent year. Nothing serious yet, but just makes you think as you get older about sun protection.
I made that joke earlier. Bug spray, sunscreen, and water filters aren't necessarily the most exciting things, but they can make a literal life-changing difference if attended to.
Exactly. You may not know it right now, but maybe in 20 years you may know it. So, Travis, I appreciate you hopping on with us today and talking about something real important, man. Everybody,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for all the comments and stuff on
Yeah.
the post and helping us get through this website with some good questions.
Send your follow-up questions back in, and I'll happy to address them with Josh by email or as needed.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk to you later.